This is a shout out to Create Harmony. Her channel. Their channel. Create Harmony. This one's for you.
There were 4 men embedded in the decks, 2 in the steel decks on top, 2 on the bulkhead walls, and the 5th man had his hand jammed in the steel of the wall. He lived because they could cut his hand off and give him an artificial hand. The effects were, in some cases, totally disastrous. They burned brains out.
And they started going back in time. They started going ahead in time. They actually got the time machine. You could walk in 1981 and come out in 47. This transmitter had enough power to warp space and time, go through Beerden's equations. There's more than enough power to do it.
Peculiar spiral tunnel which was lit all the way down. You would start to walk into this thing and then suddenly you'd be pulled down it. You would more or less be projected. You didn't walk through it as such. You were more or less propelled through it.
You walked into it.
You walked into it, correct, to start. Then you were propelled down the thing like some force grabbed you and pulled you through. And you would go down this and you would be propelled down this tube, as it were, this tunnel, which was not straight. It was corkscrew. And it would not go in a straight line either. It would take some very strange turns, which we could not explain. But it did take turns, and you'd come out at the other end, wherever you were supposed to come out, and meet somebody or do something at the other point. And
did you have like a mission?
Yes. Decided to go into the final series of tests and preparation. So about July 20th of 43, they decided, well, I guess it's ready. So they decided 22 July, got the whole crew together, selected about 12 individuals plus the 2 of us who were in the control room to operate all the equipment. The orders came via radio, fire up and go through the procedures, in which we did. The ship became invisible optically as well as radar. And it came back. When it came back, they knew immediately something was wrong. There were 4 men embedded in the decks, 2 in the steel decks on top, 2 on the bulkhead walls, and the 5th man had his hand jammed in the steel of the wall. He lived because they could cut his hand off and give him an artificial hand. People disoriented. Reports were some were floating around and finally got their feet on the ground. Others floated away and disappeared. The crew on the second test was a little larger than the first. And a number who were just plain totally insane.
Kind of a weird question. The efficiency of the nuclear power plant, like, I mean, for how much you put into it, on an average of all the nuclear power plants around, what is their efficiency?
What is there? I'm sorry.
Like, what's the efficiency of an average nuclear power plant? Since you guys oversee all the nuclear power plants, I figured you might have an average efficiency.
Are you talking the thermal efficiency of a plant?
Well, I'm not sure.
30 to 35%, I think, is the typical.
Of being able to convert about 35% of the thermal reaction to electricity.
Right.
Okay. That's not thinking. That's just popped in my head.
Thank you.
No, that's correct.
That's about right. Okay.
Yeah, roughly a third. I think when you look at pressurized water, boiling water reactors, the rule of thumb that I've always used is a third.
So the highest efficiency is the generation of nuclear waste, because 100% of the waste is converted, or 100% of the fuel is converted to waste. So really what a nuclear power plant is, it's a generator of nuclear waste with a third waste product is called electricity. If you look at it in terms of efficiency, 100% of that fuel is going to be turned into waste, only a third of it's going to be turned into electricity. So really electricity is the byproduct or a waste product of the creation of nuclear waste. And I don't understand how you guys can sit here and just look at me and think about all the nuclear waste that you're going to allow to be created. You know, I'm just, For thousands of years. It's for a long time, and you guys don't have a solution for it. You're not talking about like, well, once we get this thing started and you generate this nuclear waste, poof, NRC is going to step up and we're going to have this cool thing that's going to solve this hot problem along the river, the Missouri River, my river. You go home to Texas. I stay here. It's just made me upset just now.
Appreciate your
Thank
thoughts.
you.
I just found it interesting that you mentioned that it would take thousands of years for those karst formations to do anything, but you are making a decision to create nuclear waste for thousands of years. So you really do need to consider this kind of thing for thousands of years and not slough it off and say, well, it'll be thousands of years before that's a problem. Well, this nuclear waste will be a problem for 1,000 years. Just want to say that.
Thank you.
Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is November 25th, 2013. Here are your news updates for today. Alrighty, so the theme today is time travel because the amount of radiation that's going on at Fukushima, it's bound. Maybe they let it go. Again, I'll say it again, just like in that movie, The Philadelphia Experiment, and other time travel movies, they needed so much energy in order to travel. I didn't even think of Back to the Future with the plutonium in the DeLorean, so it could time travel. Alrighty then, that this much radiation most likely will, over a period of time, start distorting or warp time, space, open vortexes, Stargates. Who knows? Who knows what they're really doing over there, and that's why they let it go like that. Alrighty, maybe it was one big experiment with all that energy. Alright. That's another Diana theory. Alright, moving on. The Watchers watching the world. Dramatic fading of ISON's molecular emission lines. Very strong earthquakes detected southeast of Falkland Islands, South Atlantic Ocean. Wow. Strongest one, magnitude 7.0. Magnitude 6.1 earthquake struck Kuril Islands, Kuril Kamchatka Arc. Space-based solar observatories ready for Comet ISON. Alrighty. Moving on. The Extinction Protocol 2012 and beyond. .7 magnitude earthquake strikes South Atlantic, strongest to ever hit region. Japan's Mount Sakurajima volcano shaken by violent eruptions. Heads up on this one. 7 volcanoes erupting in 6 countries. Hours apart. Rise speculation of doomsday. Black hail rains down on Italian town after eruption. Wow, so all the volcanoes are going off. You got 4 comets in the sky that some are saying are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. But you're seeing all kinds of strange things in the sky. Alright. Moving on. Breaking news, breakingnews.com. See what's going on here. Let's tab down. Here we go. Freezing drizzle in central and eastern Michigan is causing icy roadways. Heads up, Create Harmony. Aren't you from Michigan? Heads up. see what else we got going on. Oh, here's another one. Towboat is sinking on the Mississippi River near LeClaire, Iowa, leaking oil. That was 3 hours ago. Okay, nothing else, just political stuff. Alright, moving on. Everyone, please try to stay warm, because I know that it's going across the country to the northeast. Is a storm with a lot of wind, rain. It's extreme weather. Be prepared. Don't leave your pets outside. Bring everybody in. Alright, let's see. ENE News, Energy News, Japan, Fukushima. Today, editors, Fukushima giving top nuclear scientists nightmares. Writer from LA. Radioactive plume crossing Pacific is what's keeping me up at night. Also today, NHK. Particles impairing visibility in Fukushima pool will try to remove spent fuel Tuesday, said to be one of the most dangerous operations ever attempted in nuclear history. TEPCO concerned about sabotage. Warns media about filming. Yeah, right, sabotage. That's right. Try to come up with another excuse, TEPCO. All right. Maybe if they would, maybe the saboteurs could stop it from going. How's that one? No one's gonna. Why would someone try to sabotage it? It's gonna affect them too. Anything to try to say, oh, it's not our fault. Oh, we don't know what happened. Oh, someone sabotaged. You sabotaged yourself and our planet. You are the grand saboteurs of the environment. Yeah, now you can quote me. TEPCO is the grand saboteurs of our environment on Earth. Alrighty then. Moving on. That makes me so mad what they say over there. Their comments. U.S. Canada ENE News. TV today. Serious concerns in U.S. about Fukushima radioactive material coming to our shores. WSJ. There's concern around the world that ocean currents are spreading the radioactivity to faraway places. Now if it's a W, that's not on the west coast. It's east of the Rockies. So they're not, I don't know if California is finding out anything, any of the west coast cities are finding out anything, because it says WSJ. That's going to be anything with a W is like east of the Rockies. Alright, moving on. New York Times. Unprecedented concentration of sea creatures near shore in California. Experts baffled. Longtime residents astounded. Biologists. It's very strange year. The $64,000 question is why. Similar to extraordinary events seen recently along Canada's Pacific coast. Come on, wake up over there. Come on. Come on, it's the radiation. Come on. Ooh, what's going on? You know what's going on. Here's another one. This is yesterday. Radionuclides from Fukushima due to hit U.S. West Coast any day now. Senior scientists, really bizarre U.S. government not testing for it. Concerns officials contacting him about threat. Wow, him. Oh yeah, that's right, I say him. Must have been him. I don't know. Alrighty. Alrighty then. It is one day down, 4 to go before the weekend. And it's 3 to go before Thanksgiving. Heads up. Buy something now, put it in your freezer if you have to. If you got the money now and you want Thanksgiving, you don't have to actually cook a turkey. You can go to one of those supermarket delis and have them cut a chunk off of one of their roasted turkeys or something, and take it and freeze it for Thanksgiving. And then just let it defrost by itself. Then you can heat it up in the microwave, and after it's defrosted maybe, and then get a can of cranberries, and there you go. You got it. You got your Thanksgiving going on. There you go. All right, so you got 3 days to go. Heads up. Take care, and be safe. And remember, if it's Thanksgiving, there's going to be a lot of checkpoints out there. If you're working it for some reason, make sure you keep your uniform on. That way, everyone knows where you're going from. Also, just to add to this, earlier today, because I have this little tree frog. Well, he's not that little. It's about this big. He's sitting there in the corner between these what are they called, cement blocks they have. They're kind of holding like up my air conditioner. He's in between there. It was so windy out here. He's just sitting there freaked out. Usually they don't come out at night. So he was a visitor for about a day. So when I got home from work, he had a little terrarium thing like this, and he just let me. I just picked him up, put him in there. Come on, buddy, what's going on? He was freaking out, just sitting there, all upset. Didn't know what to do. It was daytime, and it's cold and windy. I don't know. The animals are starting to freak out. So he was a visitor. Came home, walked the dogs, and put him in the palm tree. He liked that. He had froggy food. I don't think he ate any of it though. I don't know. I put him in a little terrarium. He was like in a little holding station for a few hours. And I sent him on his way. He almost didn't want to go. And he thought about it. He said, I'm better off jumping back into the palm tree. Have one of those cool little, like their little miniature palms. And there's a whole bunch of them clumped together. So, I don't know. I guess he liked that. He was confused though. Reminded me of the birds where they got all confused and smashed into each other and fell. He was acting like a little bit strange. Not that he was sick. It was like the weather. The weather was freaking him out. And I don't know if that's a sign that real cold stuff's coming, and see, the animals know. And also, you should keep an eye on your aquarium, because when there's a bad storm, even though the regular little aquarium fish are inside, sometimes they'll just go to the bottom of the aquarium. That's when you know something's up. Like there's a storm, could be an earthquake coming, but mainly like if there's a storm or a weather change, your aquarium fish, just like the canary in the coal mines, a lot of times they'll sink to the, they'll stay towards the bottom for some reason, because they figure the giant waves are coming. Because there's a storm. I think they're alright right now. Got these little swordfish and planties. They were feeder. I guess they were marked for going to the going to be feeder fish or something. And normally back in the old days, those were expensive. They were like $5-6 for like a pair of swordtail fish. A little freshwater swordtail fish that are pretty, and a couple guppies, and all kinds of cool things. They were selling like $20 for $1. So you might, so if you have a nice aquarium and you need to put some fish in it, go check out all the poor guys that are getting ready to be tagged for food for some other big fish or reptile. Be nice to rescue them, because there's, especially if the fish are contaminated. Maybe you can start having fish at home and raising them yourself, so that you have plenty of fish. Not that that's a good idea, but it's enough. Have fish, have chickens, whatever, eggs. Think about it. You might need to get some hens, or one. Keep it as a pet instead of having like some bird brain that doesn't do anything. Maybe you can have like a small chicken or something, because they have some breeds that they look like fancy birds, but they're actually chickens and they lay eggs. Alrighty then. Just a thought due to the economy. Alright, take care. Be prepared for anything. And I'll see you again tomorrow on the flip side. And this one show is dedicated to create harmony. They wanted to see more things about time travel. So I'm attaching the Philadelphia experiment. I guess that's the real guy talking about it that went through it. And there's some graphic pictures. When they came back on the ship, and some of them were stuck partially inside the ship. There's some gross pictures coming up, so heads up. But I think I'm going to put it at the beginning, so it'll be too late for the warning. Alright, take care, you guys. And be safe out there. Stay warm. No barbecues inside the house. Do not light your hibachi inside the house. You got to have ventilation. Don't do that. You'll burn your house down. A lot of people end up doing that, and then you see them on the news and their house burned down. Don't do that. Get a little inexpensive box fan or something if you have to, and everyone moved to one small room of the house. I had to do that back when Florida went down to 19 degrees about 4 or 5 years ago. That was terrible. All of a sudden we had some kind of cold snap coming straight down from the Arctic, and it was like there was ice all over the lawn. All the plants were like melting and turning to mush unless you covered them. Luckily I covered a lot of mine, so they were pretty much safe. But I had to move into like the small bedroom and have a couple box fans and pets. Pets are good for that too, for snuggling up. Everybody stay warm. Alrighty then. You don't need to heat. If you can't afford it, then don't heat the whole house. Everyone in the pets move to the smallest room that everyone can fit in and heat that room. Alright? Alright. And always keep an eye on all that stuff. Don't have it going when you're not there. Alright. Take care. Be safe. Be safe. I'll see you tomorrow.
Can anybody say Philadelphia experiment?
Black holes are considered a crazy idea, but they're considered legitimate crazy, as opposed to time travel.
Just outside of
crazy. So
Etrigen,
I figured that if I was going to get ahead,
Germany.
Hey, they're talking about time travel on coast to coast right now.
Wow. Probably some type of anomaly, but I thought it was interesting. Look at 2010, 2009, back to 2012. Some type of hyperdimensional warp or something. Very strange.
And you did in a big way, Ron, once you went.
Workers at the damaged Fukushima nuclear plant moved unused fuel out of a reactor building last week. Now they're moving on to a more dangerous task. They're set to start on Tuesday the removal of highly radioactive used fuel. Tokyo Electric Power Company workers on Friday completed the transfer of a cask containing 22 assemblies of unused fuel rods. They moved it from the storage pool of the number 4 reactor building to another pool nearby. Officials said they encountered no problems, but they said sand in the pool reduced visibility. They plan to pump the pool clear of particles for the next operation. They'll start on Tuesday moving 1,331 assemblies of spent fuel rods. That's the vast majority of fuel remaining in the pool, and they'll be taking extra care with the highly radioactive material. This will mark the first time spent nuclear fuel has been removed from a reactor building since the plant was damaged in March 2011 by the earthquake and tsunami.
Now, a representative of a nuclear equipment company has some concerns of his own. His company sends employees to the plant to do decommissioning work. Yukiteru Naka said the rules may make workers too scared of punishment to relate what they've learned on the job.
Plant workers will have difficulty distinguishing what information is a state secret and what is not, and as a result, they will certainly feel the pressure.
Naka said it was once taboo to raise questions about the safety of nuclear plants, and that created the myth that the plants were safe. He says the bill should not be applied to the nuclear power industry. People from Fukushima Prefecture have voiced concerns over a new government bill to protect state secrets. They say disclosing information could be crucial in cases like nuclear accidents. A lower house committee organized a diet hearing in the region of the crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant. Local mayor Tamotsu Baba attended.
Many residents were exposed to radiation because government data about the spread of radioactive substances was not released immediately.
Many people fled towards the northwest thinking it was safe. They didn't know that their destination also had high levels of radioactivity. Baba said the disclosure of information is very important. He called for more careful consideration of the state secrets bill. And he said the range of potential secrets is too broad and vague. Hiroyasu Maki from the Fukushima Prefectural Bar Association spoke of what nuclear plant information would be made secret. He said the government keeps changing its explanations.
It's not clear exactly what will be classified, and the scope is likely to continue expanding.
Maki said Japan should learn the lessons of the nuclear accident. He said there should be legislation for disclosing information and not for keeping it secret.
A team from the International Atomic Energy Agency is to inspect the decommissioning process at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant. Members are gathering information in Tokyo before heading to the complex on Wednesday. The 19-member team includes experts in reactor decommissioning and radioactivity. The second visit by the team since April is scheduled to run until Wednesday of next week. Team leader Juan Carlos Lentijo said he wants to share with the world what they learned from the Fukushima case. Lentijo added that they will pay particular attention to the way radioactive water is handled at the facility. They will also assess the safety of the effort to remove nuclear fuel from the number 4 reactor building.
The new U.S. ambassador to Japan says her country will continue to support areas devastated by the 2011 earthquake and tsunami. Caroline Kennedy is the daughter of late U.S. President John F. Kennedy. She is visiting the Northeast in her first trip outside Tokyo since she started in her job earlier this month. The ambassador met the governor of Miyagi, one of the 3 prefectures hit hard by the disaster.
U.S. troops visited dangerous areas and worked hard rescuing survivors after the disaster as part of their relief mission.
The governor said the people of Miyagi understand the importance of the Japan-U.S. alliance. He asked Ambassador Kennedy to pass on her observations about the situation in the disaster-hit areas.
And all Americans were inspired by the courage and the resilience of the people here during this great disaster. And so it was important for me to be able to come here as my first trip outside of Tokyo.
Kennedy says she will study how the U.S. can best help with the reconstruction effort.
Surprise, it won't come as a shock, 'cause I never believe their lies. When the bombs fall, then they could fall 'cause your redemption is near.
Japanese leaders are making efforts to gain a foothold in Eastern Europe. The prime ministers of Japan and Hungary have agreed to push for more business deals in various industries. One of the areas that the two countries are considering for possible cooperation is nuclear energy. NHK World's Ayochida sat down with the Hungarian prime minister to get his views on the deepening ties with Asia.
The accident here in Japan even intensified that discussion in Europe. There are some countries who had previously considerable percentage of the total energy produced by nuclear, but now they try to stop the nuclear power stations. Hungary is not that kind of country. If the Europeans would like to compete at the world market with the products coming from America and some other areas also, we have to produce cheaper energy for our economy.
He's looking to Japan for technological help, but there's another reason Hungary is looking to Asia. The Eastern European nation is export-driven, its most significant trade partner, the European Union. And during the financial and credit crises, Hungary learned the hard way the dangers of depending too heavily on one region.
So export is important. If you look at the export figures, close to 75, almost 80% of our export is going to the European Union countries. It's not good. I mean, it's good, but it's, it means that you stand only one leg, which is very unstable. So therefore, we have a clear-cut strategy, opening to the east.
Just this June, Orban and Abe met in Warsaw to strengthen their economic partnership. And on Orban's current visit, they made the goal official with a memorandum. And even though the European Union is pursuing free trade agreements with Asian countries, Orban says it's just as important for individual member states to pursue interests of their own. How is your economic policy agenda different from that of the EU?
Because the European Union is not a nation, it's not a country. There are some areas which belong to the authority of the European Union, like free trade agreements, but Europe consists of nations, and nations run their own economic policies. So we can't wait for Brussels or any other capital, which is not Hungarian, to do something good for Hungary instead of doing by themselves the Hungarians. So if we would like to have investment, better relationship, we have to do it bilateral basis.
Orban says his country's strengthening ties with Asia will ultimately come back to benefit the European economy as a whole. Ayuchida, NHK World, Tokyo.
Japan is trying to gain an economic foothold in Central Europe, and one country in the region, Hungary, is ready to talk. Prime Minister Viktor Orban has high hopes that Japan could help revive the Hungarian economy. NHK World's Jun Takahashi has more.
Orban attended a seminar in Tokyo with a group of business leaders. He called on Japanese executives to invest in his country.
Logistically and geographically, Hungary is a key point of the European civilization and the European business community.
Europe's debt crisis added to Hungary's economic troubles. 70% of its exports go to other EU nations, so Orban feels the need to shift focus to Asia. Hungarian officials have a strong interest in Japanese technology. Orban met with Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and the two agreed to deepen cooperation in the energy field. Abe sees Hungary as an attractive market for infrastructure exports, a key pillar in his own growth strategy. Hungarian officials plan to build 2 more nuclear reactors. They are hoping to produce more energy back home. One Hungarian company produces machinery used in nuclear power plants. It had ties with manufacturer Siemens, but the German firm is ending their nuclear business as the country shifts away from atomic power. So the machinery maker is aiming to foster ties with Japanese businesses. They hope to partner with them and win contracts for Hungarian projects.
We have some products we'd like Japanese firms to see, and they have a lot to show us too. By combining our technologies, we could build new parts for nuclear facilities.
Japanese firms are also looking to cooperate with Hungarian ones in the energy sector. Masayuki Tsukawaki is the president of a wind power company. Hungarian officials are mandated to double their renewable energy output. Tsukawaki's company owns the technology for storing electricity generated by wind power, and he sees Hungary's energy policies as a business opportunity.
Hungarian officials have set a high target for renewable power generation. To achieve this goal, they'll need to find a way to deal with the inconsistent output of wind power facilities. We have the solution.
Hungarian and Japanese officials say deepening ties between energy businesses could benefit both sides. A deal reached in this sector could also lead to more cooperation in Central Europe and Asia. Jun Takahashi, NHK World, Tokyo.
Congratulations, you have completed this video with flying colors. Please await your certificate and complimentary fruit basket in the mail before proceeding any further.